psychology, and she also did at UNISA first year in honors in sports psychology. So there we go. She knows a bit about that, and she probably needs just a master's degree just to share the house with me. So I hand over to Barbara. She's going to do the talk on depression this evening.
Okay, welcome. I'm going to share my screen with you. Right, can you all see that? Okay, just give me, Frank, give me the thumbs up there. Can you see my screen? Okay. Right. Now, to come back to depression, it is not as simple as black and white if you deal with depression. If you see there, you won't believe it, but Chris actually had clinical depression for 14 years when we were still in South Africa and we just came out of university. So he wrote that book, and it is his life story, how he beat clinical depression. Right, if you look at the types of depression, it is very much like cancers. You get different cancers. Now that way you also get different types of depression. You get major depression. It manifested and characterized by a combination of symptoms that interfere with the ability to work, study, sleep, eat, talk, walk, behave, and enjoy just about every activity of life. Then you also get dysthymia, which is a less severe type of depression, but it's involved long-term and chronic symptoms that do not disable. But it is difficult to live with it because it makes your life unpleasant. You're not always feeling good. So also, although it's not as bad as the rest, you know, it is still not really nice to live with it. Then you get a third type of depression, which is bipolar disorder. And, you know, it is also called manic depression, which lots of people have these days, and we know more about. Right, symptoms of mania or depression. Every individual is unique and different. So that's why, and everybody react differently to depression. It depends on the person. The symptoms of depression are as follows. It's continuous feelings of immense sadness, guilt, of hopelessness, emptiness, pessimism, worthlessness, and I'm going to tell you quite a few more. Negative thoughts, the craving to stay in bed all day, the burning, tingling sensation all over the body. I remember when Chris had it, he got like pins and needles in his hands. And at that stage, he was at every psychologist you can get. At the end, they were crying, didn't know what to do. I was studying psychology at that time, and I went with him to some of these sessions because I wanted to know, how can I help him? And you know that thing which they say, how do you think you can help him? And the moment they say to me that, then I know they're busy, you know, practicing their psychology on me. So I just, you know, left it. But he also, you know, at that stage went for heart stuff in Bloemfontein. You name it. He went to 22 doctors and not one could help him. We really tried everything. You also get lactic acid buildups. So, you know, you're in pain all the time. I remember he moaned a lot about pain, his whole body pain, his joint pain, everything pain. Dizziness, the feeling that you could faint at any moment, that also happened. And, you know, it makes you anxious because you don't know when it can happen. And I saw it many times. The need to keep the light out, like staying in a dark room, that he did a lot, just, you know, and it's difficult to get a person like that out of that dark room. Sleeping problems, insomnia, a lot. Intense leg and joint pains, stiff muscles, acute thirst. I remember how much water he drank at that stage. He still drink a lot of water, but not as much as then. It's like permanently thirsty. And then also repetitive thoughts and actions. And then more symptoms is, you can read there, racing heart, severe sweating, lack of energy, problems hearing. I remember when we stayed in Pietermaritzburg, you know, we will sit in our house And then Chris asked me, do you hear it? And then I said, what are you talking about? And then, he could hear the stuff which is going on in town, which is 10 kilometers away, but he couldn't hear me speaking to him. Then eye pain and redness. And then this is how he beat clinical depression. After suffering quite a few years before we came to this point. At this point, we were in Queenstown already, and I will say it's about 4 years on. And in 1989, our GP actually said to him, you know what, you're a tall person, your work is very stressful. I mean, he was 26, then he worked at that days with shopping malls and schools which they built, and it was his responsibility, for everything. It was millions of rands at that days, which was quite a lot for a young guy. So he said to him, why don't you start taking vitamin B? Vitamin B is for your nerve system. So, start taking vitamin B. And the other thing which he started on was omega-3 salmon oil, because it is anti-inflammatory and it helps with body pains. When I run marathons, that's the first thing I take. Or like today, when I play 2 hours tennis, my body is really sore. Then I get home and I'll drink 4 omega-3s. It really helps with body pain. And also a thing which you call full motion, which is for cartilage repair and maintenance. While he were on the medication, which the doctors gave him, and they really gave him bags full, he eventually was taking 6 times the daily doses of that transine. So, and he was just not getting better. He was getting worse and worse and worse. And I think that, he realized that, like he say in the book, that he realized that his health was in trouble, that he needed to do something, and only he could do something about it. And he decided to put all the medication away. And the doctor said to him, if you do that, you will die, because you can't go to cold turkey from the doses which he was on. Well, he didn't tell me that I can tell you. I never knew about that. But he put it all down, like with smoking. You must just say, put it down, never again. And that's what he done. And I remember in Pietermaritzburg at that time, it was 2-3 degrees at night. In the middle of the night, then he sit outside on the, on the stoop. And then he was sweating like crazy, and he will put buckets of water on himself, and the scum was coming out of his mouth. But, he didn't die. He survived. He's a survivor. Okay. So, which is really good. At that stage, our kids were small, so I think, he had to think about that as well. The other thing which he was taking is CalMag, which is calcium magnesium. I always took it for my back. But magnesium is also very good for your nervous system. And then finally, the absolute Rolls Royce that everyone on planet Earth has to take every day is a supplement which is called 3NN. That is your essential oils. That is the stuff which they take out of the bread these days and out of everything else these days for shelf life, for money. So, by taking that out, they actually do the human race no service, because we don't get the oils anymore, so we all have sick cells. Remember, you're just as healthy as your sickest cell. Chris also changed, or we as a family changed our diet. We eat a lot more vegetables. Luckily, he never actually drink any alcohol. And since then, he just stopped drinking overall. He just since then, never take alcohol. And you will laugh, but his favorite is Frisco. He don't drink any. He don't drink any coffee. It's too strong for him. And you all know Frisco is not really a coffee. But anyway, and he take purified water, and he watch what he put in his mouth. Right, then. The thing which really helped him when we were in Queenstown was a counselor. It was actually a doctor, a psychiatrist, who really helped him. It was an old little Wummy, and he went and see him weekly, and man, that guy really helped him through it all. I would 100% recommend, if you have depression, that you go and speak to somebody. That is much more worth than any pill any doctor can give you. Okay, but the other thing which you also need to remember, it is not a pity party. So if a person has depression, don't go and sulk with him. You need to, try and be patient, but need to be firm and lead them, encourage them to get out of the dark room and things like that. Okay, and then we all know about learned behavior. You know, that thing where you have a fly which jump up and you put the lid on, and then later...
Not a fly, it's a flea.
A flea. Okay, a flea. And then later you can leave the lid, and then it won't jump out anymore. So it is the same with behavior. You know, you can change behavior again. Right, and then it's not all been bad. So the one thing which we also did was Dr. Caroline Leaf Detox Brain Program. She is excellent. She has lots of books. She have online courses which you can do, which is only 10 minutes daily, and it really helps to retrain your brain, to say that. So really good to go and listen to her. So if we look, when a person suffers from depression, what people think I feel is at the left is sadness, but what I actually feel is nothing: sadness, self-loath, isolation, hopelessness, anxiety, and guilt. So it's so much more than just sadness. Depression isn't just sadness. Okay. Then you need to find out, you need to find a plan of action for yourself, and you need to commit to it. Then do not stick to something that is not working. So if you do find a plan of action and you use it and it's not getting any better, then change. You know, find another plan of action, something which is actually working. And Chris was saying at the bottom, I soon realized that medication are not a fix for our mental problems, but merely a type of masking of the symptoms. Right, and this is just a graph to show you. During our lifespan, you get a feel-good one, which is your green line, your excitement, your honeymoon, everything which is good, which is happening to you. Then you get a okay, the blue line in the middle, and then you get a distress, despair, the red line at the bottom, which is numbness, disbelief. And then you can get depression, and then you can go into a crisis and how it's been handled. So just to show you what happened to you. Then it's time to act. Nobody but you can fix it for you. And I heard Chris this many times say to people who come and see him, and then he chat to them. And he said to him, doesn't matter what other people see, only you know what the problem is, and only you can fix it. So take charge and accept responsibility for yourself. Decide to get better. It is a decision. Learn to love yourself and take care of yourself. And I know lots of people, if I look on Facebook, there's so many people who say, I hate myself, look what I am, and oh, you know, all of this and this. It's time to get over that. You need to decide to love yourself. Change your attitude to change. Learn to be fanatical about implementing change. Recognize your good and bad habits and work on them. It's hard work. Become selfish. Learn to say no. I know lots of us are people pleasers, like Josh Myers will tell you, but you must learn to say no. Sometimes you also need to say no. Take your time. Eat the right food. Taking care in your eating habits, it's part of loving yourself. Remember, this body, you only have one of them. If you mess it up, then you're responsible for it. You put it in your mouth, nobody else. 8, if you seek sadness, it will find you. You will see all the people who, you know, if you have a pity party, you will have a lot of people hanging on to this pity party. So just give it time. You will more find that than you will find the individual who stand up. Okay. It's easy to be pulled down. It's not that easy to stand up. Listen to upbeat music. Socialize with positive-minded friends who can support you. Oh man, that is very, very important. Your friends in these times is really important. Avoid the TV, news, newspapers, and bad programs. So please, if the TV only have bad news, put it off. Find something else to do. Don't be addicted to the TV and sit and listen to the same old sad news every night after night after night. Now, 9, cry if you want to, or even if you don't want to. And I know in South Africa, when I grow up, they say boys don't cry. But please, if you're a boy, you're welcome, you can cry. It's not a weakness to cry. It is actually a man who can cry. So it's okay to cry and can often bring clarification and soothing because it helps you to accept it and to get over it. Right, then start with baby steps and don't overwhelm yourself. Remember, you're not going to fix this all in one go. This takes time. And I saw with Chris, 14 years we went through it. There is no quick fix. Then avoid stimulants like alcohol and drugs. They may give you temporary relief, but the symptoms will always come back, often much worse. So it's not a solution to take the drug and think you're going to be over it. Practice some form of meditation. Prayer, is also meditation. It is proven to clear and relax the mind to help bring some clarity. Oh, there, prayer is also a form of meditation. So nobody said you must go and sit and say, oh, like that. There's lots of ways of doing meditation. Then watch your diet. Avoid alcohol, sugar, salt, and fat. Clean your water. Use a water filter if you can, because there's lots of hormone disruptors in water. So that is another talk, but they are in the water. Increase your intake of fresh fruit, vegetables, and fiber. Avoid or remove pesticides from your fresh produce. And the last one is really important. Believe in yourself, because we all do. You deserve to live a fulfilling life too. So you're worth it, every bit of you. Right, get your basic steps right. The first one is doctor food. So you need to eat correctly. Then doctor sleep. You need at least 8 hours sleep a night. So make sure that you sleep enough. Fresh air, doctor air. So you need to not sit in the fumes like Frank sat at school in the fumes. You need to get fresh air. Open your windows. Get a mother-in-law tongue in your house so that you can purify.
Just make sure the mother-in-law's tongue is a plant and not a woman.
Yeah, it's a plant. Okay, please.
Okay, just checking.
You can go and fetch the plant that I can show you. Then, doctor, exercise. You need exercise. Even if you walk 3 times a week. Nobody say you're going to have to go and play 2 hours tennis and run 2 kilometers. You can just get some exercise. Okay. Doctor, outdoors. Make sure you go outside and not sit in your house all the time. Force yourself to go outside. Even if in the beginning it's just till your stoop. But you need to get out of your house. Doctor, laughter. Watch funny stuff there's lots of funny stuff on Facebook. Chris loves to watch these things. He always say, watch here, And sometimes I don't catch the joke, but, that's fine. Just watch some funny stuff. It's always good to laugh. Then you also need to detox. We believe in detoxing once every 6 months. And 5 reasons to detox is to remove the toxins from the body. Okay, so that you get all the metals out of your body. Healthy immune function is very, very important. Your immune system helps you to fight all diseases. It's also good to jumpstart a weight loss program. If you do have a weight loss problem, start also with a detox. Slow premature growth and increase your energy. After a detox, you always feel like you can move the world. Okay. And did you know the average person is exposed to 85 to 168 or more different chemicals daily? Now, this is not just the things you eat. It is your hair shampoos, the perfumes, the underarms, the air outside, the car, the seats when you get into your car in the morning. It's just everything around you, everything you touch, everything you have to deal with, all the toxins where you work. So there's really a lot of them. And I have if you want the studies, we have it in a booklet. So I can send it to you if you really want to go and read it yourself. And then almost 13,000 chemicals are used in cosmetics. And only about 10% have been evaluated for safety because there isn't money to test all these things. So, people take shortcuts. Then 95% of fragrance chemicals are synthetic compounds derived from petroleum. Petrol comes from petrol, especially like your vanilla flavors and stuff like that. So, and remember, they say it's organic because petrol comes from the ground. So it comes out of the ground, it's organic. So don't get fooled by that. Now, things you need to reduce is sugar, pasta,
rice, peanut butter, popcorn, bread, red meat, and coffee.
Yes, because popcorn makes your body acidic. Peanut butter stick to your intestines so that your colon at the end will work like a hosepipe if you eat a lot of it. So you can't take good nutrition in. Things to increase is raw fruits, raw vegetables, seeds, and cook from scratch. Very important not to eat a lot of fast food. Stews, soups, and things like that.
Not too much fruit because you'll end up being diabetic. Eh?
Yes, I know, but moderation. Yes, it's a diabetic expert next to me and now, okay. Then, things to reduce is the TV. Believe it or not, it's not always very positive. Movies, watch which movies you watch. These days, you know what, I'm really getting fed up with movies because they always swear in the movie or there's some gruesome things in the movies. They can't make decent movies anymore. Then your news, your screen time, your negative associations. If I always said to my kids, a friend is a person who leave you better than what they found you. So if your friend's not leaving you better, get yourself new friends. I am really proud of my friends, so I'm okay. Time thinking about your problems. Really, it's not going to sit and help to sit there and sulk and think and think and think how bad the thing is.
Rumination.
Okay, it's too big a word for me.
That's an English word.
Okay, so, get up and do something. Listen to positive talks, reading positive books, positive associations, serving and helping others. By helping other people, it makes you feel good because it's good to help other people. Activities outdoors, such as swimming, gardening, running, tennis. Think about goals, work. 10 your problems. Other 10 your problems. Okay. So
it probably doesn't mean you go outside and get a bit of sunshine.
Yes. So, set goals for yourself. Get out and go for it.
Okay, it says think about goals work other than your problems.
Sorry, it's a spelling mistake. But it is good to tan as well because it's vitamin D. So it's good for you. Right, and then self-talk. You are talking to yourself all the time. You might as well talking to yourself positively. It doesn't mean you are cuckoos because you talk to yourself, by encouraging yourself positively. Right, and this is the wellness pyramid. I changed it a little bit.
Under duress.
I wonder if you can see what I changed. Okay, I swapped the whole grains and the protein because protein is something which you really need. Your whole body is made up by protein. So it is sugar and fat, then whole grains, fruit and vegetables, protein, and then exercise. Okay, and this is the way you should eat it. Not the other way around where if you look at people's shopping trolley, most of their shopping trolley is just full of sugars. Right, what to do? Drink plenty of purified water, avoid sugars, fizzy drinks, and fresh bread. Bread is really not very good for you, so get yourself like sourdough bread, things which you bake yourself and not the rubbish you buy in the shops. Avoid tea and coffee. Eat
Probably just a little bit of tea.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, well, in moderation. Eat little red meat, but eat a lot of fish, chicken. Clean all your fruit and vegetables. Make sure you take all the toxins off. If the vegetables are systemic poisoned, then make sure you buy them organic. Get some exercise. Set goals. Goal setting is very important because if you don't know where you're going, you aren't going anywhere. Associate with great people. Try to help the less fortunate people by helping others up. You also help yourself. Cut out reading newspapers and stressful movies. What to look for in a supplement, because you can't eat it anymore. There's just no ways that you can eat enough these days to get all your nutrients in. So you have to supplement. Now, what is important when you supplement? Because you can also supplement the wrong things. If you use a bad supplement, it can give you cancer. If you use a good supplement, it can prevent cancer. Just to give you an idea how important a supplement is. The first thing, does it have a third-party seal of approval? Is it made from concentrated human food extract? Okay, not the Karoo bossies. You are not going to eat the grass
and the krill oil.
The grass cuttings next to the road. Human food. Do they have third-party studies showing it get into your blood? What is the point of taking a supplement and it's not getting into your blood? If so, are there clinical trials that show it helps you and not harm you? It must help you. Okay, now, very important. Is it juice extracted from organically grown, non-hybrid, vine-ripened, non-GMO fruit and vegetables produced according to pharmaceutical regulations published in peer-reviewed journals? Now, I suggest that sentence you write down. And whenever you go and look...
It's so big you'll have to take a snapshot of it.
Well, if you look for a supplement, that is the supplement you look for. That is what we call a seal of approval. Now, if you do have supplements at home, if it have any of that seals on and it says organic, then you're still okay. But if it doesn't have any of that seals on, then it is not organic. There you can see Ireland have their own seal, New Zealand, Italy, Canada, France, Sweden, Australia, and there is just general seals as well. There's also a green leaf, which I don't see on here.
And I've seen that in South Africa already.
Yeah, I saw the green leaf in South Africa. It is very much like the fifth one, but it's just a green leaf. Okay. Then, this is what Chris started with the breakfast pack. Okay. The first one is omega-3. And this omega-3 includes all 8 omegas from the fish families. And lots of the omegas you get in the shop is only omega-3, omega-6, or omega-3, 6, and 9. And we anyway have enough omega-6. So you need to take a complete omega-3 that, you don't cause imbalances in the other parts of the omegas. It need to be cold pressed, like your olive oil or your avocado oil. It need to be cold pressed, because the moment you boil the oil, it actually go rancid. It needs to be tested for 200 families of toxins. This one is tested, and they could not find any toxin. And here in the UK, they did a study at the gynecologists and obstetricians at the King's College, and they actually said this is the only omega-3 they will give to pregnant women, because the others all have toxins in them. Now, if you look to the right, you will see what this omega-3 do. It lower your inflammatory index by 68%. And all that rest. So it is really good for pain, but it's also good for cholesterol and everything else. So you can, I can send you this as well if you wanted to ask the person who invited you to show you this. Right, then it also, the Pro Vitality, which is in that sachet, which you saw in the beginning, it also have a little green tablet look like a rugby ball at the left, which we call the 3NN, which we said to you is so important for energy. It's your lipids and sterols, not steroids, it's sterols, because it is important, it heals the cell membrane, so that good nutrition can go in and the toxic waste can go out. Also, chelated minerals, and the chelation is to enhance the absorption. Also, vitamin E, which is D-alpha tocopherol, and not DL. The moment there's a DL on the label, it means it is synthetic, so it's made in a laboratory. So please don't buy supplements and then there is on the label DL. The vitamin E includes all 8 factors of vitamin E, your 4 tocopherols and tocotrienols. Then that little rugby ball which you see there, in 2003, the Nobel Prize was given for cell technology, allowing verification that whole grain lipids and sterols control cell membrane health. Just to tell you how important 3NN is for you. Then the last of the 4 tablets in that little breakfast pack is an antioxidant. And that is not made from pond scum, Tunicella salina, or, you know, these pond scum which you get, especially here in the UK a lot. They say you must scoop it out, dry it, and put it in your soup. Well, I definitely won't do that. So it is made from food. It includes 15 families of carotenoids, and it has been proven in human clinical trials published in peer-reviewed journals. So that trials there where you see it increase your immune system with 37% in 20 days, that study is done. And that study, the person who invited you can also get you that study. But that little carotenoid also saved my life more than 20 years ago when I had hepatitis, because you know, it boosts the immune system with 37%. It increases your natural killer cells by 20%. It curbs oxidation damage by 44%. And it also helps your heart, you know, by 500%. So really, really great tablet to take. Right, when we look at the protein shake, and for the people in New Zealand who know Joe Maloma, that was why he died, because his kidneys couldn't take it any longer because of all the rubbish protein shakes which they take. They found that in the protein shake is 25 essential vitamins and minerals from whole food. There's also 5 grams of fiber, which from all the essential whole food fiber families. Again, it's from families, not just one. And it also contains 2,000 digestive enzymes. Okay, so that's why it's good for your digestive system. They use the glycemic response control technology, which make it great for diabetics and for people who want to lose weight. So it helps that your blood sugar don't spike. They also use the ProtoGuard system, and that is why it doesn't kill your kidneys, because they pre-digest it so that it does not hurt your kidneys, and it promotes easier digestion. And the important thing of a protein is that PDCAAS score, and that score is 1.76. And you can go to any shop. I went here to a health store in the UK. They could not give me any protein shake. If you look at all the things which is on the slide, they could not give me any shake which tick all these boxes, where this protein shake tick all these boxes, because it also contains all 22 amino acids, also 18 grams of absorbable protein, because there's a little bit of apple sugar in the shake to make it taste a little bit better. That fiber just encapsulate the leftover sugar and take it out of your body, that you don't get a spike. It's no genetically modified or artificially anything in that shake. Only 140 calories and 90% lactose free. Right, and then the other things which is good for depression, I told you, is vitamin B, which it's the main thing which Chris started on, and I actually tested him on this one. I took I do his little box where he take his tablets, and I left out the vitamin B for a week because I wanted to see if it's not psychosomatic, you see. So, and then after a week, he said to me, this vitamin B isn't working anymore. You get the pins and needles in the hand again. So I said, well, I didn't put it in your box. I just wanted to test you. So it actually really worked. It played an important
role. Well, that's
role.
not difficult. You just go to the toilet and see that it's yellow, man.
Yes. Well, it played an important role in promoting a healthy cardiovascular system, which is very important to you. Also contains 8 members of the essential B vitamin family, plus choline and inositol. Okay, and then I'm just going to lift out the important stuff for you here. It's an exclusive formula. It's derived from biologically bound yeast. And then at the right threshold control, the technology for sustained release of vitamin B nutrients. So that is just that it stay in your body for 6 hours. So sustained release just mean that, you know, vitamin B is water soluble. When you go to the toilet 2-3 times and it's out. Where this one, it's an easy way to test it, because if you take this one, you go to the toilet, your wee is yellow for 6 hours. Where the other vitamin B, if you go after the 3rd time you go, it's out. So really good value for money. Then magnesium, why that is important, it boosts overall energy and stamina by working alongside with CoQ10 within the mitochondria to produce ATP for cellular energy. ATP is very good for cellular energy. Support normal blood pressure, support heart rhythm, healthy muscles, strong bones and teeth. It helps to maintain a proper balance of calcium and magnesium in the body. It boosts your immune system and support healthy neurological muscular.
It's just nerves, man.
Yes, so for your skeleton and metabolic functions. So magnesium is a really good tablet to have. And I know in South Africa you don't have it yet, but the moment you come in, they say that most people are magnesium deficient. Right, just a few things. It's double amino acid chelation. It just means they have a protein coating around the tablet for better absorption. So it's also vegan. And I'm not going to say too much because I already did the previous slide. Then Herbal Rest Relax. I don't think you get it in South Africa. We don't get it either, but you can get it from people who can get it in other countries like Kenya and I think in Ghana, and you also get it in the USA. It promotes restful sleep. So if you can get your hands on it, if you have depression, very, very good for you because it helps lift mood and promote calm relaxation. And it contains 8 herbs, and all the herbs is there. I'm not going to go through all of them, but really good tablet if you can. If you ask the person,
struggle to sleep if you're insomnia.
Yeah, so if you the person who invited you, see if they can get hold of it for you. Then CalMag with D3. This is the one thing for COVID now, which they find which is important, is the people who get enough vitamin D don't get it so easy, and they also recover easier. So our CalMag have D3. It's also double amino acid chelation to promote fast dissolution and maximum absorption of minerals, calcium, and magnesium. And it's a perfect blend of chelated calcium and magnesium. It's in the ratio 2:1. And it also includes 1,000 IU of highly bioavailable vitamin D3. And it is seashell derived. So excellent, and I truly believe in CalMag. And you take your CalMag by itself at night, never mix it with other vitamins in the morning. And it's really good for people who struggle to sleep as well. It relaxes you. Then Aloe Vera Plus, my word, this is really a great product for stress, for anything. It is a herbal tea blend. It calms and it relaxes you. It's an adaptogen. So if you're down, it pep you up. If you're too high, it calm you down. So, you know, it is an excellent program. We we live on this, that I can tell you. It's also additional support.
Well, if we don't drink alcohol, we might as well drink aloe.
There you go. Additional support is vitamin C, and it also contains electrolytes, and it is sweetened, and it also have a little bit of lemon in it, and it also gives you some energy. Then your lipotropic adjunct, we don't have it here in the UK, but we can get hold of it, so if anybody need it. It's a concentrated whole food lipotropic factors, choline, and we already said about this one, the inositol, it helps keep fats emulsified in the blood. And I'm not going to talk too much about this further. If you want more information, ask us in the UK, but you do get it in South Africa. Then your feminine and your masculine herb. This South Africa have feminine herb, but you can get masculine herb from Kenya and Ghana. And the people who invited you, you can get it from that. It is for male vitality. It includes Avena sativa for renewed physical vitality. It's a tonic for the nervous system. And then your feminine herb contains 10 herbs, and it promotes positive mental attitude. Very, very good for women. Then, and remember, these statements have not been evaluated by the US Food and Drug Administration. I don't know if they mean much these days.
Who are they in any case?
These
the World Health Organization doesn't even mean anything anymore.
These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases. This is only a recommended vitamin and mineral program to assist your body promoting a healthy lifestyle. It is not a medical prescription to replace a doctor's treatment. If you have health issues, please consult your doctors. We are not doctors. I have a diploma in nutrition, so I can help you with the food and the stuff, but we are not doctors. Please consult your doctor.
But I do enjoy it when the doctors phone and say they're diabetic. What can they do?
Okay, so books which we can also recommend. This is real stories of real people with real life problems. You can buy that book on Amazon. And Reasons to Stay Alive of Matt Haig, which you can read. There's also a book, and I told you about Caroline Leaf.
You're allowed to read the Bible as well.
Yes, I know that. So, you know, positive books to read. This is the beginning of a new life journey, a new life. Right, thank you. Then I'm just going to share a little video with you. Okay, now bear with me because
I hope it works.
I hope it works. And this is Chris's testimony for you.
And I said to her, do you know,
It's
probably been like 5-6 years that I've not even thought about being depressed ever again. And I actually had to go back and look at my notes or go and read a bit in the book again. That's how well I've been able to manage and get rid of it. But basically, the first thing, everything Louise said is your reaction to the depression. What you really have to go and do is, first of all, deal with the cause of the depression. So, you know, Barbara said, I mustn't say that if you weren't depressed before, you don't know what it really is. Most people, they just feel a bit down and they think that's depression. No, that's not depression. Depression is when your color of your eyes change and you can't breathe properly and you can't walk and you can't talk and you're in pain. And so it can be extreme though. So don't just the day you feel down think you're depressed. It's not really that simple. It's something a lot worse is depression. But the secret of it is it's all up to you. You can change your depression. And that's also the bad news. You can change the depression. So, you know, the first thing we normally do is we dishonest with ourselves. You run somewhere else and you blame someone else and you try and find someone else to stand in for your problem. And then you run to the medication, which is the normal route. And I tried that for 14 years and the medication didn't really work. So if you want to, I did them all, the Lexotan, Inderal, Tenormin, Ativans. I was on 64 per day, which is about 5 times more than the manufacturers would prescribe to you. So where other people were taking a box a day, I was taking a box a month. I was taking a box sometimes a day. Okay, so if it really gets bad. But if you can deal with what the cause is, it's so ridiculous. Let's say a woman is abused by her husband and he throws her down the staircase and beats her up every evening. You can't just tell her to think positively about it. And that's really what the medication and the psychology wants to do, is you've got to make the thing acceptable in your mind, and that doesn't actually work that way. It's like somebody being run over by a bus. You just tell him to keep crossing the road. Someday it's going to not feel that bad when the bus drives over you. No, you teach him to press the button, stop the bus, and cross safely. So that's a bit of an approach that you should have to it. And but you also have to make up your own mind whether you think that the medication is a solution to your depression. If you think the solution of your depression lies in medication, well, good luck to you. I was shot at, petrol bombs thrown at me. I was locked up in a container. I was waterboarded, and no medication was going to change that in my life. Okay, so you have to change the way you react to the depression. And then obviously you have to do all of these things. Get rid of the newspaper, get rid of the television, get rid of the bad friends that talk nonsense into your head. If your boss is a problem, get rid of your boss. I got rid of my partners and all of these things that give you extra headaches that you shouldn't really have in your life in any case. And then you also need to find out things that aggravate it. For me, it was coffee and red meat made it worse, made me down. If I had a steak for 3-4 days, I'd be low. So you have to adjust all of those things. And then I found a lot of help in vitamin B complex. That was my go-to. And if you said to me, all the other products are not available, what do you take? I take vitamin B complex. I've most benefit from that. From 3NN, CalMag, and then obviously the shake. Those are the things that were great for me. But I found most things, though, that people do most damage to other people. So that's one of the saddest things about depression. A lot of that is caused by somebody else. So somebody inflicts depression on somebody else. And in my situation, it was quite bad because one of the people had died. So you can't even go back and beat them up, and you have to learn to deal with that. Okay, so, and please, I know that you want other people to feel sorry for you. And if you, the husband and the wife and the friend, please don't feel sorry for the depressed person. The depressed person actually needs his own courage and strength a lot more than you feeling sorry for them. I know it's terrible to say that, but it actually, if you agree and feel sorry with the depressed person, you actually prolong the agony, because then the decision to take action is just pushed down the road. If you're depressed, you have to act now, and you are the solution to your problem. There's nobody else that's going to do it for you.
Right. There you go. That was Chris's testimony. Anybody wants to ask? Oh, Renee is on. Renee, can you unmute yourself?
I have allowed people to unmute themselves, Barbara.
Okay. Just give Renee to unmute herself. Okay, Renee, did you unmute?
Yes, I did.
Okay, Renee is a psychologist. She has a doctor's degree in psychology, and I asked her just to give us a little bit of a testimony and to say something. Okay, Renee?
Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for the opportunity to give my 5 pence worth tonight. First and foremost, I have to say, I absolutely love the products. I will not personally go out without the products, and I've been using them for about 5 years now. And that was after Barbara nagging me to use the products. And I'm so grateful to this woman for nagging me to use the products, because they work. Simple as that. I have autoimmune disease, a very serious one. And that causes a few health issues. And since I have been on the products, my health has steadily, slowly, steadily increased. And I put that down to the role the products has played in my life, and also a few life changes that I have made along the line. Because you know what, if you want a certain outcome, you have to put the hard yards in. That outcome is not going to happen all by itself overnight. Frankly, I wish, but it doesn't work like that. So yes, I can really say that the products that I'm taking, and I'm taking quite a bit of the products, is really been literally a lifesaver for me. And it keeps me going through the day, and through the winters, and through COVIDs, and through colds, and through. So I can highly recommend the products. But I'm not really here to try and convince you of anything. I'm not here to convince you that you have to do the products. It's up to you if you want to try them or not. For me, it worked. For Chris, it worked. For Barbara, it worked. For my husband, it worked. For countless others that I know, it worked. And you just have to have your own journey. You have to have your own journey and find out for yourself. I think that is probably the best form of experience when it comes to testing out something to find out whether it will work for you. Now, I want to focus a little bit on the topic of the evening, which is depression. Depression is a very complicated mental health issue. There is not a quick fix for it. There is hard work involved. And yes, sometimes there is medication involved. Unfortunately, in the Western society and where we live in, popping pills and prescription for depression is at the all-time high. And that is not always the answer. Yes, sometimes it is the answer, depending on the type of depression that you have and depending on the chemical imbalances that is true to your unique situation. So I am not one to discount medication immediately at all. Sometimes when patients come and see me, I will actually ask them, go on medication, consider going on medication for the simple reason, I can't work with you, you need to be stabilized first. Let's get the chemicals under control so that we can get to the cause or the root of the depression. Because there is no way in treating depression or any other disease, physical, emotional, not that you have emotional diseases, but anything has a cause. You have to get to the systemic root of what is causing this. Now, when it comes to depression, there's many, many reasons why people get depressed. There's historic depressions, there's things that's happened in childhood, there's things that's currently happened, there's things everywhere, and it's for all of us. Life happens. Life happens, and sometimes life is not that kind in the happening. But we have to deal with it. And when we feel ourselves unable to deal with it, it's like a helplessness sets in. And when a helplessness sets in, that opens the door for depression very, very quickly. So what I'm actually saying is pills by itself is only half the cure. Pills by itself is only half the cure. And that is to say, if you really need an antidepressant or anti-anxiety tablet. Half the cure, that's quite a statement. I have been doing my job for 33 years, and I can't call it a job because to me it's much more than that. It's a passion to come alongside people and to see them and journey with them to freedom. Freedom from depression, freedom from anxiety, freedom from whatever is disturbing their emotional, mental, psychological wellness, spiritual wellness. Now, when I say pills by itself is only half the cure, what is the other half? Well, that's quite simple. Talking therapies. Talking therapies like CBT, talking therapies like psychodynamic therapy. Psychodynamic is when we examine childhood historic things to see how that is influencing your here and now. CBT is coming up with the solutions of how can I combat this negative thinking of mine? How can I change my self-talk? How can I get myself out of bed in the morning when everything in me is screaming, stay in bed for the day, it's so nice and warm? That is where therapy comes alongside medication. But then there's a third leg to this chair, if you wish, and that is nutrition. And when it comes to nutrition, everything that I've seen on the slides, and I know the products, I know the New Life products because I use it myself. Everything concerning the products, and especially the products that has been highlighted, the omega oils, the magnesium, the calciums, the shakes, etc., will benefit you if you really struggle with depression. And another thing with depression is it's so easy to say, oh, deal with it, oh, get over it. If it was that easy, you would have done that long ago. But it's not that easy. And sometimes you need a therapist or somebody with enough knowledge to help you to make sense of what is happening for you, why it is happening, and what you can do about it. Because one thing a depressed person will feel quite often is incredibly helpless. They will feel a victim of the circumstances. And that is the first lie of depression, because you're not the victim of it. The only thing is you don't understand what's causing it. So how can you fix and how can you change what you can't understand? So that is where therapy comes very much into its own right. But I want to focus on things, practical things that you can do that I advise my patients and my clients to do. And I'm so glad I saw the 6 doctors up there, because they are absolutely invaluable when it comes to mental well-being. Fresh air, food, good sleep, exercise, being outdoors, those kind of things. It absolutely stimulates the right chemicals. So I know when you feel down and when you feel very, very down, the last thing you want to do is go for a walk. Very last thing. It's not even on your radar. But this is where therapy can help you, because it forms that accountability relationship so that you can get to go for that walk and feel better. Because that is the whole reason why you're taking a pill to begin with, is to feel better. So why not do something that is natural, that is free? Teach yourself to enjoy it. As human beings, we are so put together by learned behavior. We learn to be depressed sometimes. We learn to be anxious. Somewhere along the line, we learned how to be scared of something. And when we have depression and anxiety normally goes hand in hand. It's very rare that you have a person with depression that does not have a measure of anxiety, because the two of them go hand in hand. So I don't want to take up the whole evening by talking about this, but there is so much to be said for good supplements, trustworthy supplements, with a track record of, yes, it works, with all the official seals, with all the right research and papers behind it to back it up, backed by science, as New Life says. There's a lot to be said by taking that and doing little bits that you can, like going for a good walk, stimulating yourself emotionally, mentally, psychologically. Do a puzzle, do a new hobby, learn a new language. But then again, why are you telling me this when you know depression steals my motivation? How on earth am I going to motivate myself to do those things? And the chances is I'm going to start it, and 3 days down the line, I'm going to drop it because I don't feel like doing it anymore. Well, that is where therapy comes in its own, because that is where you can be helped. That is why I'm saying pills is by itself only half the cure. And in the Western society that we live, the GPs do not have the time to get to the root issues. The last last memo I remember is like GPs is supposed to spend 3 minutes with every patient because there's not enough GPs in the UK. 3 minutes. 3 minutes is, morning doctor, my stomach aches. Let me give you something for your stomach ache. And if it doesn't work, come back again. Now, I am not in any way, shape or form belittling my colleagues in the medical profession. They have it very tough with the restrictions that's been put on them by the medical board and et cetera, et cetera. They are doing their best. And you know what, a big shout out for them in the current situation that we are coping with COVID and how they are dealing with it. So, but what I am saying is a pill will not take your problem away. Only you can take that problem away once you understand what it is, how it got there, what it is doing for you, to you, against you, and how to deal with it. And that will require the other half of the cure, and that's therapy. There's no shame in therapy. People who come for therapy is incredibly brave because they realize, I can't do this by myself. It's not a sign of weakness. Staying in that place without trying all avenues, well, that might be a sign of weakness. Or it might be a sign of fear. So, good nutrition, good hobbies, good therapy, excellent cures for depression. On the other hand, if you are on medication as we speak, please do not be ashamed. Because I know what I do if I have a headache. I take a tablet. There's no difference. There's no difference between my paracetamol and your antidepressant. I want to take the stigma and I want to take the shame away immediately. You have nothing to be ashamed about. Life happens. And sometimes the way life happens is not that kind. And it's difficult to deal with that. So if there's any questions, that was my 5 pence worth very quickly.
Thank you,
Chris. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you very much.
Any
Yes?
questions?
Is
Shoot.
there anybody with a question? You want to put up your hand? You want to ask a question?
You can unmute yourself, eh?
Frank, can you give them permission to unmute themselves?
Yes.
Okay.
Come on, guys. There must be at least one question. You can't let me off the hook so easy.
Renee, you did such a great job that they don't have a question for you.
And besides, it's free. If you see me here,
Yeah, you normally have to pay.
you normally have to pay.
Okay. Okay, no, it doesn't look like there's any questions. Well, you can always email me and, I can forward to Renee or Oscar or whatever. Thank you very much for coming tonight and listening. And I really hope that we helped you a little bit.
Beulah has raised her hand. Unmute yourself, Beulah.
Beulah? Beulah? Can you unmute yourself? Frank, can you unmute her?
I've tried.
Beulah, you want to ask a question before we go? I don't think she wants to ask now, Frank.
If she's struggling to unmute herself, she can always type the question, and it can be read out.
Beulah, do you like to type your question in the chat box?
I've tried to unmute Beulah, but I can't. She'll have to do this herself.
Ingrid looks like she wants to ask a question.
Do you have a question,
Okay,
Ingrid?
Yeah, I do. Thank you very much for that amazing, inspirational under the subject of depression. So I'm very happy that I saw quite a few of the people that I know that are very close to me that have joined. I'm sure that they've got something out of it. Yeah, my daughter is suffering big time with depression, was put on some heavy meds, and went and chatted to Herman over the weekend about it. So, you know, it's that helping hand that we just try. If you hear it, put your hand out, help, because that's what it's all about. And right now, you know, even though we can't touch each other's hands, we're there for each other. And that is the most important, embracing thing that I feel right now. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Absolutely. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. Well done, everybody.
Yeah, thank
It
you
was
very much.
great seeing you all. I will give you a little.
A party pooper.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Renee. I appreciate your time.
Thanks
Eh?
a lot, Renee.
Thank you. You guys welcome.
Great job.
Yes, thanks, Frank, for hosting.
Thanks, Frank. Great hosting.